Is it images or not, this CV? Because if they are prepared by images, there is a risk of ATS. If it is not prepared in Word or PDF, if those are images, then they can transfer all informations of your CV. And if recruiter couldn't see your informations, your CV never come in front of them. So my recommendation always to prefer Word, basic, simple words, and then transfer it to PDF. Photo, it is nice to have a photo, but it's not mandatory for sure. There is just a small effect of impact if recruiter or manager see a professional photo, small impact, I can say. Not that big, but I always prefer photo. If there is no photo in the CV, some managers don't hire. This is really cultural issue. There is phone number. It should include country code, definitely. There is professional summary. That's nice. Objective or professional summary, professional experience, nice. Here, for example, it's nice to see the month and year. Again, and the last, it's very open in which company, position, dates, and also in the right side, the experiences. It's nice. It's nice to have one-page CV, by the way. He designed it in a very nice way, he or she, in supply chain, but supply S is small and chains C is big. So there are mistakes here in CV. And for example, S is small, C is big, L is small. Not that important, I know, but you may face with that kind of hiring managers or recruiters who will eliminate you because of your mistakes. Bringing unique ability to align logistic efficiency with customer needs, recognized for strong leadership attention to detail and delivering results in fast-paced environments. 7 years experience in supply chain to align logistic efficiency with customer needs, okay, but make it a little bit specific, like logistic efficiency in warehouse, in planning, or in which field of logistic would be great, because logistic is a very big industry. What is very important in professional summary to see, for example, here, what he or she is looking for. One sentence of objective, what is making you unique, and some specific experiences if you have. Another sentence is for why this job description is interesting for you. In this position, what's very interesting for me to make an cost optimization, because this is my strongest point. To write this in professional summary. Professional experience, her last position is in sales. This CV can totally change if she or he applies for sales role or logistic role.
So you, for instance, if you are helping someone, would you like to have all the versions of the CVs?
No. First, we are preparing a general CV. 2 or 3 pages, it doesn't matter. All of your experiences, certification traits, all included, all experiences you have. And then we generate it to the job description. We are preparing one CV. Here, for example, what is a little bit tricky. In professional summary, she wrote she has 7 years experience in supply chain. She never mentioned about sales, but all experiences are related with sales. Because of that, if it is a sales role, it will be different. If it's a logistic role, it will be different. If it's in logistic role, for example, I would recommend to add one sentence why she worked in sales. Or
would that be good
years.
For the CV or for the cover letter?
Both of it.
I don't like to have duplicated information usually. As a hiring manager, I have the CV and then I have the cover letter. The CV to me needs to be quite concise. I go quite quickly on the CVs.
Yes, you are talking about a perspective of hiring manager. As I said, it is not to write all things in cover letter and at the same time to CV. There is no black on white actually. But in cover letter, what would be nice here, for example, not to explain all things, but if it is very important, because hiring manager will have a question mark. Okay, she has 1 year experience in supply chain, 4 year experience in sales. So why she wants to work in logistic? what happened in sales. So if both is okay for her or him.
And it has to have a good reason.
So it would be important to add it to cover letter because some recruiters are not reading cover letters. To be safe, if you send an email to recruiter, you can explain in email. I have 4 years experience in sales, but I really like to continue my career in logistics.
Imagine the reason is you were working on sales and there is no work on sales, and then you decide you need to adjust, and now you go to logistics because at least you have some experience. Should the candidate be completely honest with that approach, or should find a different reason that is more appealing? Not necessarily a lie, but to find something more appealing for a reason.
Yes, it is tricky because honesty and trust is very important, but at the same time, it's not working all the time. Because those people do not know you. It is first time that they have interaction with you. And any kind of information that is coming from your side is plus or minus, plus, minus, plus, minus. Sorry, but it is like that. If you say that in sales, the industry is, it will go to other side like, okay, the candidate cannot find a job. I would rephrase, not lying, but not emphasizing again. If they ask you in detail, you can tell them.
I think we can, for these kind of strategies, is like you can say, no, have an idea of how things are going to be trending in the future and the impact on AI. And someone who is focused on making profit not only for me, but for the companies as well. I believe like sales is going to be automated, but logistics still needs.
That's great answer. To say directly, I couldn't find a role in sales. Create immediately negative effect that it's as a message coming to me like you made many interviews for sales roles and now you are in a difficult position and because of that you are choosing logistics. Can I hire that kind of candidate that who has no passion and it's a kind of second alternative? This position is second alternative for the candidate. But instead, this answer, it shows that you make your analysis, you make your self-reflection, and you foreseen what is coming or not. You impressed me. In a company, if there is supply chain role, quality engineer, R&D engineer, is it a good case to apply all or not?
Apply to what?
What you said in professional summary is important. You write your career target in your professional summary. If you apply to all the position in the company, you will immediately have the question.
That changes as well depending on your experience. If you're just a young graduate, you can apply to many jobs. I don't know, I have not tried, don't have experience. Then I like I was working in the aerospace field. I like propulsion, but I like AOCS, I like different subsystems, I like system level, I like many different things, and I can apply for different jobs.
But as a hiring manager, imagine that a candidate come in front of you and apply for the HR role, marketing role, and also operational role.
Which are very different
at the same
roles.
time. Very different roles. So you would have a question mark on your mind. Why? And you imagine that there is another candidate only applied for operational roles. It shows actually self-confidence and know themselves.
That's important. That's important. For instance, the company I was working before, candidates were applying to maybe 10 different positions inside the company. All of them maybe inside engineering, but not always. Was showing lack of clarity or motivation.
Definitely, yes.
If you apply for 2 positions, would it be worthy to talk about that in the cover letter, for instance?
No need.
No need.
No need. Cover letter is another topic. If companies are not asking you for a cover letter, don't send any cover letter. Only send to the companies who are asking for cover letter. And the best cover letter until now I see is from a space industry, from a client of mine. She really designed the best cover letter. It was a project manager role. She wrote to the cover letter all projects and specific points that she reached, she succeeded. It was very nice template. It's totally different. Until now, I never see such kind of points, but it's the best way to work with engineers.
Very organized.
Very organized, very structured. And immediately it hooked me like, oh, okay, she did those projects and also those are numbers. Great. It's very creative way to show your success in the projects, let me say. Education, here is the Bachelor of Science. Okay, and Master of Science. Some candidates in different countries, for example, they are writing not Bachelor of Science or Master of Science, they are writing something different. For example,
naming.
adapt it to the country that you applied for. This candidate write the scholarship, which is very important, and she has this honor degree. It is also very important. Not to write like your score, but instead, if you have a scholarship, if you have it awarded with something, it is very nice, very nice. For sure, if it's not 30 years ago. For this candidate, it's important because it's 2 years ago she awarded, so it shows her success. Skills and certification, it's okay. But when I look to skills, if this candidate applied to a logistic role, I see nothing, any kind of skill for logistic, for example. Scrum Master is also not relevant for logistic. It may be, but in a not direct way. Extracurricular activities. Voluntary work, very good point to add. But I would, for example, add this voluntary work with another headline. This candidate wanted to have 1-page CV. It is okay to have 2-page CV, by the way. Instead of mix everything, this is not mixed, by the way, it's good. But sometimes candidates really stuck on having 1-slide CV.
We are not showing the CV here, but in this case, the typography is too small. I don't have any problems reading, but you don't know who is going to read it. I would recommend to do it in a letter that everyone could read.
50 years hiring manager may have different.
50, 60, you don't know. Maybe they forgot the glasses that day and they may just go through that CV because they cannot read it.
Very good point. If you're an experienced candidate who has many projects, 3 pages also okay, definitely okay. For certification for voluntary work, I would add this community. For voluntary work, it shows your ambition, how active you are, your ambition to create impact actually. In HR, for example, what is important for me, if she really say that to work with human, and in voluntary work, if there are such kind of things, it's very important. Show the passion and connection. Treasurer, sometimes candidates under certification and training, the headline is most of the time training and certifications, they add all trainings they got. And sometimes hiring managers are asking about the training. For example, leadership training they got 10 years ago. And hiring managers really ask, what you learned from this leadership training? They said, I could not remember. So just remove it. Only write relevant to job position.
Relevant and recent.
Yes. And that you remember.
For someone who wants to reach you to do this kind of assessment, what will be the first step and what they can expect from you?
Yes, we designed in FastForward-Institute a landing your job course so they can apply. It's a self-paced course, 9 modules. And like I explained here, I explained the key points, fundamentals of CV preparation and also for interview. All modules from starting point to ending point, actually all modules are including recruitment steps. They can learn all those from the course. If they want tailor-made support, they can contact me to review CV, or if they need clarity, or if they only want to have interview preparation. But I highly recommend for interview preparation, for example, to make a mock-up interview with hiring manager and as HR. I highly recommend to get mock-up interview session from us because as you saw here, you shared as hiring manager your perspective. As HR, I shared my perspective. So they can get coaching sessions tailor-made services from us, or they can have the self-paced course, and they can have mock-up interview preparation from both of us. First, I would recommend to get the self-paced course. Then they will have chance to see what is my main need, what is my main difficulty, what is my biggest issue. The course also includes many questions, like coaching questions. Then, based on their needs, if they see that, okay, interviews are the difficulty in the recruitment process for me, then they can make the investment for interview preparation. Or if they said, okay, I don't know, I don't have clarity, I don't know where to start, or I don't know which position will be interesting for me, they can have one-on-one coaching session. My clients, most of the time I got the feedback, you really keep us on the way. I'm for them like an accountable partner. Consistency in motivation, in application creates big difference. If you continue to apply every day, you will definitely have this interview in the end after 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But what I see, if you're alone in this recruitment process, in job application process, most of the time the tendency is postpone things. So if you want an accountable partner, it is also helpful to have one-on-one coaching from me or from you. Small things create big difference. That I always want to emphasize actually. Those small things are unique for you, so it is important to make this self-assessment. You know yourself better than anyone, but sometimes you are not aware about your strength points. Coaching supports you to see your strength points.
Something like you didn't mention more about tailoring the CV. You mentioned it a little bit, but I think that is very important, is to have a conversation to understand what is the experience of everyone, to see, because some people, and it's what you said right now, some people are not aware of their strengths. They assume something is not relevant, and sometimes it is. The opposite also sometimes happens. They think something is relevant and it is not, even it could be damaging. So it's good always to have this conversation, one-to-one conversation, to understand what is the experience, what is relevant or not for the position that they have interest, assuming they already have clarity, and then help them to tailor the CV precisely according to their strengths for the position they want.
Tailor-made is important because there are very different kind of topics for each candidate. Like here, there is a topic here in this last CV, for example, the sales or logistic issue, for example, what we are going to be. In the end, we are defining a kind of strategy with clients or with candidates. For other CV, for example, there are different kind of, always some unique points for each candidate. So I always recommend to make it tailor-made. For sure, you can first get the course. You can get support from AI for sure. It's working very well. I can share one example. Only one of my clients only got one session from me. She said, I can't invest a lot, only one session. And I asked her, what is most important thing for you? She said, my CV preparation. And we focused only to her CV, 1.5 hours. And what we did actually, her all very important projects hide in a lot of details. Key projects were in the end of her CV. We brought key projects to the top of the CV because for designer roles, what is very important to see what kind of projects she did. In yacht industry, for example, what kind of big projects she did or not. And she said, I got 2 interview offers in a week. Small changes, big differences, but always the issue is to think analytical. Okay, what is this industry looking for? And you can understand this from job description. And what should I emphasize? Again, this is the only point. If you can't invest anything, only point you do. If I sum up with very key 2 points, for example, if you are going to ask me, 1 point to tailor-made your CV. Another point, don't let AI to make your CV. It would be very general. Be sure that you also review the CV because AI, what I see, always generalize. For example, this CV was prepared by AI and it add all key project to the end, like certification. Probably AI thought that those are certifications, but not. Those were very important key projects, and we added to the top. AI can prepare your CV, but be sure that you reviewed it.
Thank you very much for your assistance.
Wow, if the topic is my topic, it's so easy to speak and